This grape crusher used in the winemaking process was made in the 1800s. While more modern crushers are made out of cast, aluminum, or steel, this one is wooden.
Which makes this very unique. It's actually the only one I've ever seen with the wooden interiors to it.
This piece of history makes its home in the Antique Winemaking Museum inside Wihelm Winery in Hadley, Pennsylvania.
Out of all the equipment that we have in the winemaking museum, this is probably the oldest piece we have.
Gary and Trish Schilling are the co-owners of Wihelm Winery. The couple opened up shop in 2000, but their winemaking skills go back much farther.
It's actually a hobby that got out of control.
He made amateur wine. On our second date, believe it or not, he says, we have to rack wine. So went down the wine cellar for the second date and just never left. The museum has been created from some equipment that we had. And just over the years, we've been contacted from people. They would go through like the family house or something, and they would find in the basement or out in a storage garage or something like that a piece of equipment. So they'd give us a call and we'd go out and look at it, and over the years we've added various things.
What we have is an example of a lot of different presses. This one actually came from one of my relatives, like my great grandfather would have made wine with it. This item back here is a barrel cart. This cart actually has rollers on it, so it lets you roll the barrel on the cart.
But winemaking antiques aren't the only artifacts in the museum.
Is a bootleg still. We originally came up with one, and it's the standard moonshine still. This piece here is very unique because if you look, it's all copper. This is very, very well made. And what we'd learned about this is whoever had this and whoever was making moonshine out of this was connected to the local authorities too, because they built them like this because when the revenuers come in, they'd hit them with hatchets and chop them up and break them. And then they'd just have to turn around and build another one. Well, whoever built this one knew they didn't have to worry about the local sheriff coming in and breaking it up because it was probably his cousin or something.
And the building has some history as well. It was built in 1906 and originated as a dairy barn.
What is more perfect for a winery than an old, over 100-year-old barn? We are in our primary fermentation area. This is where when the grapes come in, it goes through a crusher. And then at that point, depending on whether it's a red or a white wine, is whether it gets pressed off and then fermented as juice, or whether the grapes, the crushed grapes, go directly into the fermentation tanks. There's stainless steel bulk milk tanks we got from farmers in the local area. Once the fermentation is complete and the alcohol is in the wine but hasn't been aged at all, what we do is we pump it down into this room. It'll be in this room anywhere from 8 months to, for the varietals we make up to 2 years. After it's gone through the aging process, we've decided that it's ready to go to bottle. We pump it from the bulk tank area over here to the bottling area.
Wihelm Winery makes about 14,000 to 15,000 gallons of wine every year in about 20 different varieties.
They're from sweet and fruity to dry and lightly oaked.
We also do quite a few fruit wines.
We have a new one out within the last year called a rustic red berry,
which is a cranberry and Concord blend. Our best-selling wine is our Wihelm Red, semi-sweet to sweet red wine. Our better-selling wines are the sweeter side. It seems to be what the market is around here.
With its growing popularity, Wihelm Winery has started branching out with an outlet store in Hermitage and most recently began selling their products in state liquor stores.
Our growth has come upon our customer requests. When we first started, we just had standard size bottles. Over the years, we had people saying, can't we get it in a bigger quantity? We actually started doing wine in a 3-liter box. We call it our Revel box.
The winery hosts several events during the year, including mimosas on Mother's Day. But their biggest events take place on Memorial and Labor Day weekends.
This will be our 17th annual Memorial Day weekend coming up.
They're open to anybody. There's no entrance fee or anything.
We give tours of the wine cellar every hour starting at 1 o'clock.
I always say it's like a big family picnic. You just have to bring the family, that's all.
So we put all of our hearts into what we do around here. And I think it shows in our wines.